Arhat Fist+Sun will seal equals Iron Hand Iron Refining Hand+Dragon Locking Skill equals North Sea Dragon Fighting Hand Red Flag Order+Tiandu Hidden Dragon Code+Arhat Boy Skill equals Tiandu Secret Code Chixian Shenzhou, The Vast Land, The Imperial Court, Aristocratic Families, Sects, Demons, and Endless Struggles. The Holy Body of Fighting, the Golden Glass Holy Body, the 9 Ascending Dragon Body, the Tathagata Holy Body. Compete for physical strength. The young man held a divine mirror and gradually created his own legend. Keywords of the novel. Mythology starts from Tongzi Gong without pop-ups. Mythology starts from Tongzi Gong. Download the complete text, and Mythology starts from Tongzi Gong. Read the latest chapters. Chapter 1. Meng Zhao. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 1 Meng Zhao At night, the moonlight is serene and serene like water, pouring down on the earth. During the reign of Emperor Daong, it was located in the city of Nannan County in Jizhou, in the western garden of the Meng family, a wealthy tribe. A young man dressed in purple stood still in the open and peaceful courtyard, surrounded by a hazy light of light red. The boy closed his eyes slightly, put his hands across his chest, interlaced his fingertips, and pinched the Arhat seal. His expression was solemn and dignified, like a solemn Buddha statue in a temple. At the same time, fully concentrate on the internal energy within the body, stimulating a surging internal force like a wave. Between breaths, like pulling a bellows, a huge airflow fluctuates with the boy's breathing. It was as if hearing the sound of reciting scriptures, revealing the strength of its organs and muscles, as if a fierce beast was hiding inside. Through the soft moonlight, one can see that the young man's appearance is extremely outstanding. He was about 18 years old, with long black hair as shiny as silk tied behind his shoulders with silver knots, neatly combed. Sword eyebrows fly diagonally, pitch black like ink, nose like hanging gallbladder, lips are thin, and the lines on the face are soft yet heroic. Under the dim red light, the whole person was as fair as jade, with an extremely tall and outstanding figure, exuding a heroic and extraordinary aura. Suddenly, the young man's slightly closed eyes opened, and in the dark night, it was like two white electric lights suddenly appearing, sharp like knives, making it difficult to look directly. The long white breath exhaled was like a shot arrow, condensed and never dispersed. The young man regained his composure and stood with his hands down, looking up at the bright moon in the sky, pondering to himself, finally, I managed to master the Arhat boy skill. Although it was not possible to directly open up a sea of elixirs and forge the strongest foundation. But ultimately it is above average, like a vast still lake, and there is still room for improvement. The Tianwu Dao in this world can be divided into 3 stages. They are 3 levels. Absorbing breath and solidifying the essence, storing qi and the si, and reaching the meridians. They can also be simplified as the 3 stages of beginner level, minor achievement, and major achievement. Leaving aside the concept of capturing breath and solidifying energy, it is necessary for martial artists to accumulate powerful internal forces and open up the sea of qi in the elixir field. Because this stage is too important, it is also known as building the foundation of the main road. The corresponding dantian developed by warriors can be divided into 5 categories. Ponds, streams, lakes, rivers, and seas, with completely different foundations. The most obvious difference is the richness of internal strength. Only the foundation of warriors like Qi Dantian can be established, which belongs to the worst class. The warriors who have opened up a sea of elixirs not only have stronger strength, but also infinite potential. Therefore, in this level, warriors will directly widen the gap, with the strong remaining strong and the weak becoming weaker. Many people, especially disciples of prestigious sects, will not easily overcome this hurdle, but instead spend years or even longer polishing the foundation of this layer. Being able to open up a dantian like a lake is already quite impressive for his age. Besides the origin of youth, it's not just a simple character. His name is Meng Zhao, and he is the second only son of the wealthy Meng family in Nannan County. Although both parents have passed away, the family is still alive and there is still a huge family business waiting to be inherited. Unfortunately, although this identity is real, he is a fake. To be precise, a teenager is a traveler. In my previous life, I was caught in a fight while watching multiple people fight in an antique shop, and one of them was accidentally knocked down. When I woke up, I had already arrived in this unfamiliar world. And even more tragically, he crossed over to a beggar who had a bad illness and no survival ability. Not covered in clothing, suffering from hunger and cold, suffering from malignant diseases, and seeing whether one died of hunger or illness. Fortunately, he was spotted and saved by a mysterious person of unknown origin, and was taken to a mysterious place resembling an underground palace for over a year of training. The training content is only one, disguised as a young man named Meng Zhao. The reason is that he has a 90% similarity in appearance and figure to the real Meng Zhao, as well as a similar age, and has advantages that cannot be achieved through facial contouring techniques. For this reason, he lived a life 10 times more diligent and hardworking than the most difficult stage of his previous life. Learn the true accent and behavioral habits of Meng Zhao, and master various necessary knowledge and skills, including writing, history, genealogy, martial arts by observing the portraits and understanding Meng Zhao's interpersonal relationships. There are a multitude of them, which can be said to be extremely detailed. Until 3 days ago, under the arrangement of that mysterious person, he was crowned and passed on the merit by a middle-aged monk. Wash the essence and marrow, transform oneself and replenish the previously depleted body. He also gained more than 20 years of pure inner cultivation out of thin air, and opened up the Dantian like a lake. In terms of cultivation alone, it is superior to the true Meng Zhao. This is actually very important. After all, similarities in appearance are easy to carve, while differences in martial arts can easily reveal one's shortcomings. How could a weak chicken with weak internal strength after practicing martial arts for a year be Meng Zhao with a solid foundation after 10 years of cultivation? Afterwards, this mysterious person completed a scene of a civet cat changing crown prince, swapping him and the real Meng Zhao. You should know that Meng Zhao left his hometown for 10 years and has been living in the Cian temple in the imperial capital of Yujing. This time when I returned to my family, I was surrounded by a large number of experts from the Meng family to protect me. Despite being strictly guarded, he still managed to succeed Meng Zhao and return to the Meng family, demonstrating the immense power of that mysterious person. Moreover, from the mysterious person's revealed understanding and mastery of Meng Zhao, it can be inferred that the other party definitely has an extremely powerful intelligence network. However, what slightly reassured Meng Zhao was that the mysterious man did not indulge in fishing and immediately asked him to complete some thrilling task. But just to let him peacefully integrate into the Meng family and play the role of Meng Zhao well. Probably like an undercover agent, it may not be used for several years. This reduced the risk of exposure for him, which can be considered a comfort. Suddenly, a rapid sound of footsteps came from outside the bluestone arch on the west side of the courtyard. From far to near, without deliberate concealment, Meng Zhao's thoughts were pulled back to reality. He tidied up his clothes, his originally gloomy expression and furrowed eyebrows quickly spread out, becoming clear and warm, with warm sunshine. It makes people feel like a humble gentleman at first sight, and it's completely different from just now. What caught Meng Zhao's eye was a young man dressed in yellow cedar, walking with a lively demeanor. This young man is not very old, but he looks 18 or 19. He has a round face, big eyes, dark skin, and an ordinary figure. Although not handsome, it looks somewhat cheerful and clever. Meng Zhao's mind instinctively reflected the information of this young man. Liu Lu, born as an orphan, was adopted by Liu Zhong, the third-generation old servant of the Meng Zhao family and also the big butler of the Meng family's second house, due to his amazing bones in his early years. He became Liu Zhong's adopted son. After Meng Zhao returned to his family, Liu naturally became a confidant, close friend, and follower around him. And, on the premise that Meng Zhao's identity has not been exposed, his loyalty is beyond doubt. LV Lu hurriedly walked up to Meng Zhao, knelt down, lowered his head, and respectfully held his hands. He handed Meng Zhao a gilded invitation with black letters on a red background and said, "Young master, this is an invitation sent by the second young master to his servants, inviting you to taste wine and appreciate the moon at Yalan Pavilion." Lu Li's voice has a rare icy texture among young people, and it sounds very comfortable. Meng Zhao did not take the invitation, but walked up to LV Lu with a gentle smile. He held the young man's arms with both hands and directly pulled him up, his eyes soft and reproachful. "Ale, I've told you before that kneeling in front of me is not acceptable. You are Zhongguo's adopted son, who is also my brother. How could there be a reason for brothers to kneel down and bow down so easily?" Lu Lu was not well suited to Meng Zhao's approachability, and said with great anxiety and fear, "Young master, you must not be like this. As the saying goes, hierarchy and hierarchy are different. You are the master, and I am a servant. I was born to serve you, but I dare not violate the rules. But if the young master doesn't like it, I won't be able to kneel and bow in the future, just to make you feel comfortable." Meng Zhao shook his head, took the invitation from LV Li's hand, and opened it to take a look. The content is very simple. It's just that the second brother of the long room has set up a table of good wine and dishes, inviting him over to enjoy and reminisce about the long-lost family. After reading it, Meng Zhao casually threw the invitation into LV Li's arms and said, "Ale, what do you think my second brother invited me for? Should I go to the banquet?" Although he is a fake, he may have a better understanding of the Meng family than the true Meng Zhao, who has been away for 10 years and has never returned. Knowing that this second brother Meng Wenyan had no good banquet, the invitation to him was not so simple. End of this chapter. Chapter 2. Attending Banquets. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 2. Attending Banquets. The Meng family is a wealthy family in Jizhou and a famous family in the world. Meng Shentong, the ancestor, was a hero of Qinjiao. 130 years ago, in the Mount Taishan Supreme Alliance, he supported Beitang Gong to establish the Daong dynasty, thus creating a line of Nananbua, which was hereditary and useless. Contemporary Nanan Bo, the head of the Meng family, is the eldest uncle of Meng Zhao, Meng Jizu. He has 2 sons and a daughter with his wife. The eldest son Meng Shi is 24 years old this year, and the second son Meng Wen is only 2 years younger than Meng Shi. Meng Zhao learned from the intelligence obtained from a mysterious person that the relationship between these 2 brothers was originally quite harmonious in their youth, barely considered as brotherly and respectful. However, as they reached adulthood, their relationship took a sharp turn for the worse. It is not difficult to understand the reason for the breakdown of the relationship, which is that the position of the successor of the Meng family head is too important and moves people's hearts. In the face of wealth and power, the brothers also turn their backs. This kind of thing is not uncommon, even in the harmonious society where Meng Zhao lived in his past life. His brothers did not hesitate to fight over inheritance. Especially in the past year, the 2 brothers Meng Shi and Meng Wen can be said to be at odds with each other everywhere, using the Meng family as the battlefield, engaging in fierce struggles for money, people, and status. Although Meng Zhao had just returned to the family, as the helmsman of the second house, he naturally became the target of the 2 brothers' struggle, perhaps also a target of attack. Although LV Lu appeared as a cautious servant in front of Meng Zhao, he was very clever and, with careful guidance from LV Zhong, had some understanding of the current situation in the Meng family. Be careful when replying, "Young master, I feel that the second young master's move has a deep intention. Firstly, I would like to express my favorable impression towards you. Perhaps there will be some heavy profits during the banquet, which will attract you to use for him and enhance his strength. Secondly, as long as you go to the banquet, even if you haven't promised anything, if it reaches the ears of the eldest son, the resentment in his heart may not be small and will be detrimental to you. Therefore, the little slave thought, you shouldn't go." Meng Zhao nodded, knowing that LV Lu had some knowledge and should not easily get involved in the struggle between the 2 brothers in the big house, because it was extremely dangerous. Unfortunately, he still overlooked one important point, which was his own uniqueness. Meng Zhao's fate was full of ups and downs. His mother died of childbirth when he was born, and at the age of 7, his father Meng Zheng'an became obsessed with practicing martial arts and passed away. Later, the new emperor Beitang Sheng succeeded to the throne, and natural disasters such as earthquakes and floods continued throughout the imperial court, causing suffering for the people. Folk rumors are rampant, and there are even scenes of mobs rebelling in several remote areas. Although they were quickly eradicated, they still worry Beitang Sheng. Emperor Beitang Sheng believed what the imperial censorate had said and believed that it was due to the turbulence of the stars in the upper realm, requiring 30.6 noble children from the imperial court to enter the Daisai-en temple to recite scriptures and pray for blessings. It took 10 years to achieve complete merit and completely eliminate the disaster. As for how many deeper games and conspiracies are hidden within it, it is unknown. So, at the age of only 8, Meng Zhao became one of these 30.6 unlucky ghosts. Until recently, I only endured for 10 years and returned to my family. Based on this premise, Meng Zhao and the Meng family can be said to have a close blood relationship but a weak emotional connection. If, after returning to the family, he deliberately maintains a distance, resists integration into the family, and treats his brothers as malicious thieves to guard against, what will his elders think? Putting aside all conspiracy theories, it's a bit unreasonable for my cousin to invite him to a meal, a drink, and come to clean up the dust after 10 years of absence. Meng Zhao's uncle, Meng Jizu, and his third uncle, Meng Hongdao, are both old-fashioned parenting styles with a strong sense of kinship. A person who is detached from their family, a person who is disrespectful, is definitely not favored by them. Therefore, when comparing the two harms, it is natural to prioritize pleasing the elders. Meng Zhao had a decision in his eyes, and he brushed his sleeves and ordered, "Ale, come with me to the banquet later and prepare another generous gift. Choose from the rewards given to me by the court and don't neglect it." Although LV Lu was puzzled, he obediently lowered his head and bowed his hand to Meng Zhao. "I understand." The Meng mansion covers an extremely wide area, with a spacious and imposing atmosphere. In the middle, there are not only the Guadian Orchid Palace and a spacious mansion, but also various facilities such as rockeries, forest gardens, flower beds, and flowing water. It is magnificent and luxurious. After passing through 3 long corridors, 8 courtyards, and 4 pavilions, I finally arrived at the gate of the Yalan Pavilion in the North Garden where Meng Wen hosted the banquet. 2 burly men dressed in black and wielding swords stood on both sides of the gate, as cold and imposing as stone sculptures, imposing and imposing. LV Lu knew that the Yalan Pavilion was heavily guarded and inspected carefully, so he stepped forward 1 step in advance and handed the invitation to one of the big men. After confirming his identity, he entered the courtyard under the guidance of this big man. Arriving at the white stone pavilion where the banquet was held, looking around, the burly and fierce black-clad elite were distributed like ghosts, with dozens of people, providing a strict warning to the surroundings. The eaves of the pavilion extend outwards, and there are special glass lanterns hanging on top. The lights are bright, illuminating the surroundings like daylight. The pavilion is surrounded by exotic flowers and plants, which are beautiful and delicate. When a gentle breeze blows, the pavilion is filled with fragrance, making it a great place for drinking and admiring the moon. In the pavilion, 2 people were already sitting, drinking and chatting. One is Meng Wen, the second son of the eldest son of the Meng family, dressed in luxurious attire, with a golden crown on his head, thick eyebrows like ink, and a thin and delicate face. Even if you just sit quietly, you are still like a towering mountain, with a calm aura. The other person has an ordinary appearance, a cold temperament, and flowing eyes, always giving people a sense of eerie terror. Meng Zhao strode up the stairs with a shooting star, his warm face still smiling. He bowed to Meng Wen with a fist, but with a hint of self-blame in his tone. "I came late and made my second brother wait for a long time. Please forgive me." Meng Wen laughed heartily and took the initiative to stand up, holding Meng Zhao's hand and sitting at the table, affectionately saying, "Fourth brother is seriously ill. You have been away from home for 10 years and have suffered a lot. It's actually my fault that I pulled him out to drink before he had a good rest when he just returned to his mansion. Judging from his personality, he is bold and magnanimous, handles things appropriately, and makes people feel like they are bathed in spring breeze, which gives Meng Zhao a certain liking. No wonder he dares to compete with his elder brother for the position of head of the family, and indeed has some ability. You should know that Meng Shi is the legitimate eldest son, and Meng Wen is only the legitimate second son. In terms of fame, Meng Wen is definitely at a disadvantage." After taking his seat, Meng Wen smiled again and said, "Here, fourth brother, let me introduce you. This is Meng Qinghuai, a distant relative of our Meng family. He is highly valued by my father and is even closer to me as brothers." Upon hearing this, Meng Zhao politely smiled at Meng Qinghuai and greeted him. It turned out to be brother Qinghuai. "I heard before that there was a young hero in our Meng mansion who not only had excellent martial arts skills, but also had impressive abilities, helping our Meng family rise step by step. Today, upon seeing him, he is indeed the dragon among the people. This person has never been heard of by the mysterious person, and it seems that he has no interaction with true Meng Zhao. It is important to be careful." Compared to Meng Zhao's polite and courteous demeanor, Meng Qinghuai's reaction appeared very calm, even indifferent. "I didn't even look at Meng Zhao, I just let out a response." Being swept away by someone, Meng Zhao's smile remained unchanged on the surface, but he was shocked in his heart. Looking back on the conversational expressions of Meng Qinghuai and Meng Wen I saw before, I know that this person is not naturally indifferent and aloof, but rather disdainful, dissatisfied, and even hostile towards him, which is why this reaction occurred. Meng Zhao was worried about whether this person was aware of his identity, even revealing that he was a fake Meng Zhao. This is an instinctive reaction, after all, it's a counterfeit product. I feel guilty and think about it when there is a slight disturbance. Immediately, he denied this himself. Even Meng Wen didn't notice anything unusual. How could a collateral member expose him? Meng Wen appeared somewhat awkward, as if he had never expected Meng Qinghuai to be so contemptuous and hostile towards Meng Zhao. He stood there for a moment, then coughed lightly and chuckled dryly, "Ha, don't take it amiss, fourth brother. Qinghuai is just like this, cold on the outside and hot on the inside. It's good to get familiar with him in the future. When Qinghuai and I first met, we took the initiative to greet him, but he ignored me. He was quite friendly and valued you." Meng Zhao nodded lightly and did not take over. Similarly, Meng Qinghuai did not express much, and there was still a hint of disdain at the corner of his mouth. Of course, it's not about Meng Wen, but about Meng Zhao. Outside the pavilion, LV Lo stood calmly with a gift box in his hand, seeing everything in his eyes. There was a hint of coldness in the gaze towards Meng Qinghuai. End of this chapter. Chapter 3. Gifts. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 3 Gifts. Meng Zhao was actually a bit angry at this moment, but he was good at nourishing qi and the city was also very deep, just showing no signs. Meng Zhao, who was alert and sharp, also noticed a very unusual thing, which was that Meng Qinghuai's hostility was too obvious. Although Meng Zhao's previous greetings were somewhat flattering. But it cannot be denied that Meng Qinghuai was definitely a powerful figure, and he rose to power from distant relatives and eventually gained recognition from the Meng family. Saying that he can't control his emotions and hide hostility is too belittling of this person. Isn't it abnormal for Meng Qinghuai, who is as close as a brother to Meng Wen, to show such hostility and hate Meng Wen even though he knows he intends to win over Meng Zhao? Suppressing a little doubt and confusion in his heart, Meng Zhao ignored Meng Qinghuai and instead focused all his energy on dealing with Meng Wen. This second cousin indeed had a desire to win him over. After trying to smooth things over for Meng Qinghuai, he kept telling Meng Zhao about their childhood friendship. It also tells the story of how reluctant and painful Meng Zhao was when he was sent to the Jade Capital, and how he had been thinking of him for so many years. In short, family cards are played very well and show genuine affection, which is not repulsive. Meng Zhao naturally followed the flow and talked about some of his experiences in the capital city, occasionally complaining about the poor life at the Chixian temple. It seems like I have really experienced these things, and my acting skills are not lacking. As the atmosphere heated up, Meng Wen gave another frank and explicit concern, and then the conversation changed. Alas, I already knew that fourth brother, your life in that temple wouldn't be very good, but I didn't expect it to be so miserable, which really hurt you. But now it has finally come to an end. Now, fourth brother, you are not only one of the 30.6 heavenly gang guards guarding the emperor, but also a high-ranking official of the third rank, with a prestigious position. Returning to the family is not only about inheriting the legacy left by my second uncle, but also about receiving your care as a brother in the future. Speaking these words, Meng Zhao vaguely felt that Meng Qinghuai's mood, who had been watching coldly for a long time, became increasingly complex. Occasionally, his gaze towards him also showed more coldness and jealousy. This should be a real reaction. The Heavenly Gang Guard was a guard camp created by Emperor Beitangsheng, in response to the position of the Heavenly Gang Stars. Therefore, there were only 30.6 people left, and a special construction was set up, with a rank of third grade. Although not having much real power, their status is noble and they have many privileges, which is a typical case of having more status with less money. It was all because Meng Zhao was ordered by the emperor in his childhood to enter the Chixian temple in the Jade Capital and practice for 10 years, reciting scriptures and praying for blessings. Whether or not it has truly eliminated the spirit of disaster, this hard work cannot be erased. Naturally, after completing their meritorious deeds, he and 35 other brothers and sisters also received rewards from the royal family, and the Heavenly Gang Guard was one of them. Meng Zhao was granted the position of Heavenly Injury Star, along with the Imperial Seal, Waist Token, and 3 treasures of Heavenly Injury Blade. In terms of playing cards, in today's Meng family, he is probably second only to his eldest uncle, the Nanan uncle, who is the successor of Meng. Not to mention, in addition to the noble Tiangang Guard, Meng Zhao also had a huge family legacy left by his father waiting to be inherited, with status, wealth, and power all easily obtainable. No wonder Meng Qinghuai was unhappy in his heart. It's really hard to accept the comparison between people dying and goods being thrown away, as well as his own path of hard work. Meng Wen's words were also very interesting. The last sentence said, "Please try to win over, lower your posture, and say compliments." The tone of your speech was not so formal, like a joke. Meng Zhao smiled and looked at Meng Wen, but did not answer. Being able to come here and play such a brotherly drama with him is already considered a face-saving act. If we want him to truly come to an end and support him openly, it is simply too much to think. At this moment, Meng Qinghuai next to him didn't know what he was thinking, so he took the initiative to speak up and said with a somewhat sinister tone, "The fourth prince has returned to his family and is about to take over the family business of the second house. Congratulations." Qinghuai happened to take this opportunity today to give fourth young master a gift. "Come on, bring the gift up." As he spoke, he saw a strong man in black walking up from outside the pavilion, holding a copper box, clearly prepared. Meng Qinghuai stood up and took the copper box, held back the strong man in black, smiled at Meng Zhaopi without a smile, and then opened the copper box. "Take out a palm-sized stone carving from inside and place it in a corner of the table. This stone carving is a tiger that looks quite vivid, with good craftsmanship and high carving techniques. However, compared to those fierce tigers that looked fierce, spirited, and looked like the king of beasts, this stone tiger had lifeless eyes, extended its claws, lowered its head, and made a posture of lying there, sickly and without any momentum. The meaning is not difficult to understand, it is that the dragon must be coiled and the tiger must be lying down. This is a warning to Meng Zhao that in the future, in the Meng family, one should be careful in their behavior and not do things they should not do. At first, Meng Wen thought that Meng Qinghuai had really prepared a good gift to give to Meng Zhao, so he felt full of anticipation. Thinking that if he could take this opportunity, the two of them could resolve their previous discord and also settle his worries. After seeing this stone tiger, the expression on his face changed and his heart also cooled halfway. This is a rhythm that never stops offending people. Meng Wen is also quite strange. Even if Meng Qinghuai is not usually a very peaceful and friendly person who treats people and things, he is not so narrow-minded, petty, and would offend people to death. Why is this so? What worries Meng Wen even more is that Meng Zhao's face is finally not as gentle and composed as before, but rather a bit more gloomy. In the blink of an eye, a strong anger surged, as if it was about to erupt at any moment. We cannot let two people directly engage in conflict. Meng Wen had this idea in his heart. If there really was a fight here, would he help Meng Zhao or Meng Qinghuai? The former is his cousin and is about to inherit the foundation of the second house, which has a great impact on his competition for the position of head of the family. It is very helpful for him not only to not offend but also to win over. The latter is his right-hand man, who has known him for many years, has a deep emotional connection, and is closely related to his interests. He cannot let people's hearts be cold. Therefore, Meng Wen made a decisive decision and deliberately made a relaxed expression, pulling down Meng Qinghuai's sleeve and blaming him. "Qinghuai, your gift is too shabby. It really doesn't stand on the stage, so don't embarrass yourself. When it comes to gifts, it all depends on my careful preparation." Speaking without looking at Meng Qinghuai's somewhat unpleasant expression, he lightly patted his hands. After 3 crisp sounds, from a flower cluster in the east corner of the pavilion, beautiful petals rolled up gracefully like butterflies. Like jade, as white as snow, and as blue as the sea, petals of various different categories come flying in a beautiful and magnificent manner. Under the reflection of glass lamps and the backdrop of a sea of flowers. A beautiful woman wearing a pink water skirt and a white fox fur walked towards them with a graceful figure, as if walking out of the picture of a maid. This woman has snowy skin, slim and graceful, with her head covered in black hair combed into a cloud bun. On her beautiful melon seed face, her facial features are delicate and her bones are soft. At first glance, it is unforgettable. To summarize, there is a characteristic of elegance, simplicity, and beauty, with a clear and lofty spirit that does not consume worldly pleasures. Even though Meng Zhao was bombarded with countless beautiful pictures through online channels in his past life, he was still attracted by the beauty of this woman. Not to mention someone else specially created an atmosphere for her to enter. These petals, tsk, I don't know how many blooming and beautiful flowers she would waste. However, the effect was also top-notch, and at least Meng Zhao couldn't help but be attracted to this woman. Immediately, his mind became alert and urged the idea of the concept of white bones that matched Arhat's boy Kung Fu. Imagine the flower-like beauty in front of you as a white skeleton, with occasional terrifying flesh and blood wriggling, covered in feces, urine, maggots, and mosquito and fly bites. In an instant, all the previous charm and excitement disappeared without a trace. The whole person is as calm as an old monk, with no waves or illusions in his heart. The Buddhist techniques he learned from the Chixian temple are unparalleled in terms of calming the mind and breaking desires. End of this chapter. Chapter 4. Refusal and Buddha's Beads. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 4 Refusal and Buddha's Beads. However, Meng Zhao had the idea of cutting off desire from the White Bone Temple, and the men inside and outside the pavilion did not have this secret method. Therefore, they were all attracted by the sudden appearance of this stunning woman. A few black-clad guards with weak willpower and lack of composure even showed an ugly expression of seduction, and their saliva was almost flowing out. Meng Zhao sat still, his gaze shining like lightning, staring intently at everyone around him. Pay special attention to Meng Qinghuai's performance. After all, this person had many abnormalities before and had hostility towards him. It was found that when he saw the woman appear, his expression was also addicted, but he quickly woke up and returned to normal, indicating his mental resilience. And I don't know if it's because Meng Zhao was being too cunning. He always felt that Meng Qinghuai was avoiding this woman more than showing respect. There is a difference, the former is instinctive fear, and the latter is intentional alienation. Fourth younger brother, this woman's name is Chu Yao. She is 28 years old and not only has a beautiful and unparalleled appearance, but also is good at singing and dancing. She carries a strange fragrance and is the best in the world. Half a month ago, she was given to me by her elder brother, but she never touched her and is still innocent to this day. When you first returned home, there was no one by your side who could take care of you, fourth brother. Second brother, I will offer flowers as a gift to Buddha, and I will give this woman to you. Don't refuse. When Meng Wen spoke, he didn't even glance at Chu Yao, as if he didn't take such a stunning beauty to heart. His expression was also quite candid, explaining the origin of this woman's identity clearly and clearly. Meng Zhao instantly understood Meng Wen's intention. This was not just borrowing flowers to offer to Buddha, but perhaps it was a diversion of disaster from the east. With the discord between these two brothers in their faces and hearts, and the relationship of quickly beating their brains in the dark, when they think with their feet, they all know that this beauty is a hot potato. Perhaps Meng Wen not only wanted to bribe him, but also wanted to test him. The fourth brother doesn't know something. When I was in the Great Xian Temple, I had already practiced Arhat boy kung fu. I raised a pure boy spirit and could not break my body easily. So I am grateful for the kindness of the fourth brother. Upon hearing Arhat's boy kung fu, Meng Wen and Meng Qinghuai both changed their faces and stared at Meng Zhao in surprise. His gaze was strange, as if he was wondering why he chose this martial arts. Not that it is not good enough. You should know that the Arhat boy skill is one of the 3 top acquired martial arts that are secret in the Great Xian Temple. Once you succeed in cultivation, you will not only have a strong qi, but also have a magic effect to break evil. There are many benefits to using the pure yang boy qi to strengthen muscles and bones, improve qualifications, and assist in practicing other internal mental techniques. If it weren't for the glory of Emperor Beitangsheng, Meng Zhao would not have had the qualification to teach this martial arts. But there is a drawback to practicing this skill, which is that one must maintain the body of a child in order to be brave and progress. For monks, this is not a difficult task, as there are many virgins in their late 20s. But Meng Zhao is not a monk. In theory, the children of such wealthy and noble families have basically not chosen this type of martial arts. Firstly, the family needs descendants to spread their branches and continue their bloodline, which cannot be ignored even in ordinary households. Secondly, the rule of not touching women is also too difficult for men, especially for wealthy young men. For example, Meng Wen, at the age of 16, broke down with his maid who was serving him. Although he had not officially married yet, he had no less than 10 women both at home and abroad, so he had more opportunities to act on social occasions. In contrast, although Meng Qinghuai was not as good as Meng Wen, he secretly raised 2 women, both of whom were extremely beautiful. Therefore, they were unable to understand Meng Zhao's life as a poor monk who was not attracted to women. However, after thinking about it, Meng Zhao stayed in the monk's temple for 10 years, and it is estimated that he has been foolish. Perhaps he still does not know the beauty of women. Meng Wen only hesitated for a moment, but at the same time, he let out a haha and said, "I see, fourth brother, you have suffered. However, this woman is exceptionally beautiful. Even if she stays by her side and works as a servant, it's better than you, fourth brother." Meng Zhao sighed and interrupted Meng Wen's words, showing a shy expression, "Second brother, I don't have enough concentration. If such a stunning appearance appears in front of me every day, I'm afraid I won't be able to control it and my cultivation will be ruined. Therefore, let's skip it." The words were already so straightforward, and Meng Wen couldn't continue to encourage and force him. He waved his hand helplessly. In the eyes of ordinary people, Chu Yao, the beautiful beauty of the country, looked at Meng Zhao with a hint of grievance, bowed to the few people in the pavilion, and then walked away step by step. Even her back was still beautiful and extraordinary. I guess this beautiful woman is going to curse her in her heart. Others would love to claim her as their own beauty, but none of the three brothers of the Meng family have paid attention to her. She has been wandering around until now, still a virgin, hurting her self-esteem. Meng Wen was not distressed at this moment. The beautiful woman couldn't be sent out, although it was a bit unexpected. It was not without other preparations, so he said again, since you don't accept the beautiful fourth brother, you can't refuse the next gift anymore. As he spoke, he once again asked the servant to bring a treasure and place it on the table, smiling, fourth brother, you have been in the temple for 10 years, so you must be familiar with the treasures of Buddhism. This jade Buddha bead is a rare treasure that I stumbled upon by chance. It is made of extraordinary materials and has been blessed by a high monk's decades of Buddhist cultivation, imbued with Buddha nature. Having the effect of protecting the Qingming of the Ling Tai and enhancing internal cultivation, I am giving it to my fourth brother. These 12 jade Buddha beads are crystal clear and natural, connected by an almost invisible silver thread, emitting a faint blue light. Even if you don't understand anything, you can see with your eyes that this treasure is valuable. However, Meng Zhao's expression remained indifferent, devoid of any emotion, and he was about to refuse again. Anyway, he only came here to make a gesture, not really to get involved in the struggle between the two brothers in the big house. For these Buddha beads, they are even more indifferent. After all, he is not the tough guy who really stayed in the temple for 10 years. But at this moment, an accident happened. Meng Zhao looked at the flower in front of the jade Buddha bead, and the dazzling blue light flashed away. Suddenly, a deep desire for this string of Buddha beads surged in his heart. I must have my hands on this string of Buddha beads, otherwise I will definitely lose something. Meng Zhao's feeling came so suddenly and so strongly that he couldn't understand it. It has been over a year since I came to this world, and this is the first time I have had this wonderful feeling. Could it be that the golden finger has been credited to the account, giving him the ability to distinguish rare treasures? Thinking of this, Meng Zhao felt a little hot in his heart, and he didn't care about his previous plans, showing a satisfied smile, that little brother would be disrespectful. Speaking, Meng Zhao summoned LV Lu and asked him to put away the Buddha bead first. At the same time, he also presented the gift held in LV Li's hand as a serious gesture of reciprocity. The gift he returned was selected from the rewards given to him by the court. Although it was not as precious as this jade Buddha pearl, it was still quite appropriate. So, Meng Wen's expression became even more relaxed, and in the subsequent conversation, he became even closer to Meng Zhao. He invited Meng Zhao here today to get a glimpse of the attitude of the second room. Now that the other party has accepted this gift, as long as Meng Zhao is not mentally ill, even if it cannot be used by him, he will not easily turn to his elder brother's side. This is already very good. I'm afraid that the second house will fall directly towards his elder brother, and the situation will take a sharp turn for him. As for Meng Qinghuai, under the deliberate neglect of Meng Zhao and Meng Wen, he has completely become the background board. A person silently poured and drank on the side, with an indifferent gaze. Occasionally, they looked at the two people who had a deep brotherly relationship and felt mocked in their hearts. Unfortunately, at this moment, Meng Zhao was eager to figure out the extraordinary nature of this Buddha bead, as well as his own groundless whim. He didn't have much thought to play with Meng Wen's deep brotherly drama, so he quickly made an excuse to say goodbye. The posture that needs to be done has been achieved, and everything else is trivial and there is no need to stay and continue acting. Although Meng Wen did not achieve his initial goal, he was still satisfied with the current outcome and did not impose any retention measures. Obey Meng Zhao's instructions and send someone to send him and LV Lu out of the Bai garden. Instead, he comforted Meng Qinghuai, who was in a bad mood. Although he has some dissatisfaction and doubts about Meng Qinghuai's performance today, he will not be overly harsh. To put it simply, Meng Qinghuai is still useful to him, and of great use. Otherwise, someone else would have been thrown out to feed the fish if they dared to harm his good deeds. End of this chapter. Chapter 5. Sky Mirror. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 5 Sky Mirror. Meng Zhao strode out with a meteor and walked along the long corridor stone path without looking back. Lu followed with a worried expression. When the two of them returned to the West Garden, Meng Zhao's originally warm and appropriate smile restrained and he said coldly, turn around and ask someone to deliver a message to Meng Wan, saying that Meng Qinghuai has already had private dealings with the eldest son Meng Shi and may not be loyal to him. Just deliberately point out that he is so abnormal today, targeting me for the sake of the young master. Be more secretive and don't expose us. Lu was a bit surprised. It wasn't that things were difficult to handle, but rather that they were too easy to handle. He thought Meng Zhao would send him to find someone to teach Meng Qinghuai a lesson and vent his resentment, but he didn't expect it to just spread a rumor, so he hesitated and said, Meng Qinghuai and second young master have known each other for a long time and have a deep affection, so they may not believe such rumors. If the young master is really dissatisfied with this person's behavior tonight, why don't I find someone to teach Meng Qinghuai a lesson? Meng Zhao had no doubt that Lu had this kind of energy. After all, he was Zhong's adopted son and now the only close person around him who could listen. It is not difficult to mobilize the strength of the second branch's subordinates and teach a lesson to a subordinate. However, Meng Zhao didn't like trouble and either didn't do it to the enemy, or he would do it absolutely. Giving the other party a lesson that is neither light nor heavy will only intensify the conflict, and for him, it is meaningless. Maybe it will bring him some trouble in the future. He shook his head and said, no, do as I say, no matter how good their relationship is, and no matter what the reason Meng Qinghuai is hostile towards me today. Just give Meng Wan a reason to doubt. Meng Zhao was repeatedly beaten by society in his past life, and he is very tolerant and knows more about propriety. If we were to recklessly suppress this person, perhaps it would have fulfilled the wishes of some people. After all, it all depends on the owner to beat the dog. Tonight, Meng Wan has been very protective of Meng Qinghuai, and he has made several attempts to smooth things over. Now he's doing this just to add a thorn between the two, whether it's successful or not, disgusting people have a hand in it. Lu nodded and agreed. Immediately thinking of something, he took out the jade Buddha bead from his arms and handed it to Meng Zhao. With a smile in his eyes, he praised it, young master, according to my eyesight, this Buddha bead should be made from the azure spirit jade, with a compelling spiritual energy. Wearing it for a long time can nourish the essence of the human body, absorb toxins and impurities excreted by the body, and is very precious. The silk that connects the Buddha beads is the silk vomited by the spirit insect, the ice silkworm. It is incredibly tough and cannot be broken with a knife or axe. It can also maintain a pure and peaceful mind. Wearing it on a daily basis is of great benefit to the body, young master. The second young master's gift is not light. Meng Zhao was originally indifferent to this Buddha pearl, and the reason for accepting it was only due to an instinctive desire. I was afraid that some kind of opportunity would disappear, but hearing Li's words sparked some interest. This world is vast, mysterious, and magnificent, possessing unimaginable power. Therefore, there are countless natural resources and treasures, exotic flowers and plants, as well as spirit beasts and ferocious beasts. In terms of the three major categories of heavenly treasures, earthly treasures, and mortal objects, the Bixuan Lingyu and the ice silkworm silk, although not classified as earthly treasures, can still be considered as exquisite items among mortal objects. Taking the jade Buddha bead, Meng Zhao's palm trembled slightly, and a strong suction came from his body, absorbing some energy from the jade Buddha bead completely. His whole soul was filled with a sense of satisfaction. But looking down carefully at the Buddha beads, it seemed that there was no change, the luster remained the same, and the spiritual energy did not diminish. Meng Zhao felt suspicious and became even more curious. He waved his hand and asked Lu to step down first. Alone in the courtyard shrouded in orange light, he carefully explored the abnormalities in his body. Meng Zhao sat on a bench in the west corner of the courtyard, calm and focused. In the depths of his mind, he could sense a bronze mirror with an ancient and simple design, blooming with colorful brilliance. At the same time, a series of more complex information transmitted to Meng Zhao's mind. For a long time, Meng Zhaofeng opened his eyes and burst into a surprising light. He stood up and paced back and forth in the spacious and quiet courtyard, constantly fiddling with the jade Buddha beads in his hands, muttering the 4 words, "white" repeatedly. The bronze mirror in Meng Zhao's mind was a treasure called Zhaotian mirror, with unknown grade but great power and incredible divine power. In World War I, breaking down the spatial barriers and entering the world where Meng Zhao lived in his past life, he fell into silence due to being in the end of the legal era and his spiritual connection severed, becoming a commodity in an antique shop. Later, by chance, Meng Zhao was slapped behind his head with this mirror, stained with blood. This mirror recognized him as the master, briefly stimulating his spirituality and exhausting his strength, taking him across to the world where spiritual energy is abundant today. However, the Zhaotian mirror was severely damaged due to the war, and it also consumed its original source to break through the boundaries of time and space with Meng Zhao, crossing over and leaving no spiritual essence, only a little instinct. So, after Meng Zhao crossed over, there was no movement in the sky mirror, not because he didn't want to, but because he couldn't. Until today, Meng Wen gifted the jade Buddha beads to Meng Zhao, which contained a special energy charm that aroused Meng Zhao's instinct to shine on the sky mirror inside his body, prompting him to eventually accept the beads and also letting him understand the causes and consequences of this matter. At this moment, Meng Zhao had this mirror and not only had the confidence to survive under the dual pressure of the mysterious person in the Meng family, but perhaps he could also play the trick of backdoor listing, completely solidifying Meng Zhao's identity and freeing himself from the control of the mysterious person. Meng Zhaoping regained his mood and carefully pondered the function of this mirror. Zhaotian mirror, at its peak, should belong to an all-around treasure that combines attack, defense, and assistance, with unlimited power. After all, it already involves time and space, making the space full. Perhaps we can still compare ourselves to legendary divine objects such as Kunlun mirror and Haotian mirror. However, nowadays it is severely damaged and can only be used as an auxiliary function for cultivation. Nevertheless, it is still significant. According to the information that Meng Zhao currently possesses, as long as the energy of the sky mirror is sufficient, it can be used to analyze, deduce, and integrate martial arts. If this mirror can be restored in the future, it will inevitably unlock more functions. Unfortunately, the energy required to activate the mirror is extremely rare, even high-end. This kind of energy is very abstract, and Meng Zhao understood it as the evolution of a certain spiritual force. For example, the jade Buddha beads contain the Buddha's rhyme of a great monk, imbued with the Buddha's nature, which triggers the instinct of the sky mirror and successfully absorbs energy. Unfortunately, the functions are too vague. It would be great if they could be concretized. As soon as Meng Zhao had this idea in his heart, the mirror in his mind instantly stirred up waves, and the light flowed. New information usually flooded into Meng Zhao's eyes. Name: Meng Zhao. Physical condition: energy. 1002. Cultivation: storage and gasification of the sea, opening up fields like Lake Dantian. Martial arts: Arhat boy skill, beginner level, plus 13 moves. Arhat hand, beginner level, plus plum blossom stake step, beginner, plus fusion martial arts. Status: closed. Meng Zhao was pleasantly surprised, and Zhao Tianjing was indeed mysterious, able to understand his intentions. The functions that were originally very vague now become much clearer at first glance. The function of integrating martial arts has not been opened yet, let's not talk about it for now. Just the 3 martial arts he knows now. Because the time for cultivation is still short, it is only a superficial experience, with little understanding, barely getting started. But now with energy value, it can be improved. For example, The Arhat boy's skill has a strong internal power after being indoctrinated by monks, but the beginner's martial arts understanding can only say that the initial control of this internal power, and it is far from reaching the level of arm command. But now, he can use the magic of the sky mirror to enhance his understanding of this martial arts. I believe that in the future, as long as he has sufficient energy, he will be stronger than those who have practiced arrogance and supernatural talent from ancient times to the present. As for the source of energy, Meng Zhao also has some ideas. In his opinion, the easiest way to carry energy is probably through antiques. It's best to go through antiques that have been played with by mentally strong people for a long time. He remembered that there should also be some in the second bedroom treasury, which he could look for later and strive to collect in this direction in the future. Moreover, the sky mirror itself has the ability to sense. As long as there is an object with energy points nearby, it can be perceived by him, just like this jade Buddha pearl. Furthermore, what puzzled Meng Zhao was, what are the 4 question marks in the column of constitution? He came from a beggar background in this life. Before being taken away by a mysterious person, he was almost starving to death. Is there any secret about his physique? This made Meng Zhao feel a bit itchy in his heart, and his expectations were even more fulfilled. He wished he could figure it out immediately. End of this chapter. Chapter 6. The Mystery of Physical Fitness. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 6. The Mystery of Physical Fitness. When it comes to physical fitness, it is necessary to mention the history and background of the world today. According to what Meng Zhao learned from that mysterious person, the land he is currently in is called Chixian Shenzhou, vast and boundless. Although the Emperor Yong dynasty was large, it only occupied a part of the central area. In ancient times, there were gods and demons in Chixian Shenzhou. At that time, there were countless great powers in heaven and earth. Even the strong burned the sky and boiled the sea, and it was not difficult to pick stars and moon. There are even hundreds of ethnic groups standing between heaven and earth, with demons and ghosts rampant. The human race is just a small tribe. Later, for some unknown reason, the fate of heaven and earth descended, and the gods and demons disappeared without a trace, entering the era of ancient tribes. There are 3 emperors and 5 emperors, as well as strong figures in Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, and Dharma who have comprehended the world of martial arts from the relics left by ancient gods and demons, and have cultivated the realm of supreme mythology. From then on, we overcame obstacles, forged ahead, conquered hundreds of tribes, and led the human race to one peak after another, ultimately becoming the ruler of the earth and dominating the world. In ancient times, imperial dynasties and sects coexisted. The 9 supreme imperial dynasties of Xia, Shang, Zhou, Qin, Han, Tang, Song, Yuan, and Ming suppressed Chixian Shenzhou. The sects of various major sects also went out of the mountain gates, recruited disciples, and strengthened their strength, promoting the unity of 10,000 sections. During this time, there were countless struggles, sparking one divine catastrophe after another. Until the end of the Ming dynasty in the last afterglow of medieval times, history entered the modern era. Chixian Shenzhou was in chaos, and the competition for hegemony lasted for more than 100 years. It was finally on the top of Mount Taishan Mountain that Daong founded the country in Beitang Gong, the founder of the Supreme Alliance, put an end to it. Returning to the main point, although the gods and demons of ancient times have disappeared, their immense power remains immortal. Some particularly powerful individuals have left their own bloodline and inherited special powers among the 100 ethnic groups, which is the origin of the initial special physique. Such as the chaotic body that claims to contain 10,000 laws, the unparalleled fighting spirit, the unparalleled fighting holy body that attacks and destroys, the celestial body that communicates with the stars, and the unbreakable golden glass holy body, all have unpredictable powers, which can be said to be unparalleled. There are also powerful beings like the 3 emperors and 5 emperors, the Taoist and Buddhist ancestors, who can pass on their own strength to future generations and disciples in a special way, and have also created some constitutions, such as the 9-9 ascending dragon body, the supreme Taoist body, the Tathagata holy body, and so on. From this point of view, these strong individuals are no different from the gods and demons of ancient times. Afterwards, after thousands of years of reproduction, the number of the human race exploded. There were always some lucky children born with extraordinary talents, who inherited special constitutions and developed extremely strong martial arts, shocking the world and promoting the power of their constitutions. So, Meng Zhao had great expectations that he might have some special physique. If the mirror is opened and hung the day after tomorrow, there is a possibility of loss. So a special physique is one that is innate and cannot be taken away by anyone. But is this really true? If I really have a constitution, which one is it? Meng Zhao was trapped in distress. He didn't know much about his physique, but he also knew that his physique was unique, and different constitutions had vastly different manifestations. For example, a chaotic body that is close to all paths and accommodates all phenomena may not produce a single one for thousands of years, but once it does, it is definitely an unparalleled pride. As long as he practices, he will directly enter the innate realm, and in the future, he will not die prematurely. He is definitely a mythological figure. The first person recorded as the only two chaotic entities in history was Emperor Wu of Han, Lu Che, who suppressed the four extremes and 8 wastelands and pushed the world horizontally. No matter how stunning the strong are, they will pale in front of the chaotic Lu Che. Secondly, it was Emperor Taizong of the Tang dynasty, Li Shimin, who also had a chaotic physique. Due to his rebellious nature, he once suppressed the sharpness of his father, the founder of the Tang dynasty, Li Yuan, and became a legendary shining light that illuminated the world. For example, the celestial body includes the sun body, the Taiyin body, the Ziwei treasure body, the breaking army body, and so on. Not only is the quantity numerous, but the contrast displayed is significant. The acquired state, the owner of this constitution, is no different from ordinary people, let alone abnormal, and cannot be identified. Only when reaching the innate realm and absorbing the vitality of heaven and earth, will there be corresponding star power added to the body, which is the awakening of star destiny. Whether it's fighting or practicing, they are unparalleled among martial artists, with extremely high limits. But as a result, there is a possibility of the celestial body being covered in dust. Therefore, Meng Zhao was unable to find a corresponding one among the diverse constitutions. After all, he has nothing unusual now, and his behavior is no different from that of an ordinary person. If it weren't for treasures like the sky mirror revealing his abnormal physique, Meng Zhao probably wouldn't have had such extravagant expectations himself. After pondering for a while, Meng Zhao finally realized that in order to understand his physique, it was necessary to implement it on the divine object of Zhaotian mirror. The reason why the sky mirror cannot clearly reveal his physical secrets now may be due to insufficient energy. As long as he absorbs enough energy points, he should be able to uncover this layer of fog. As for martial arts, the current energy points are limited, and Meng Zhao does not intend to use them easily. After Meng Jizu returns, he will definitely pass on the Meng family's divine skill, which will be enhanced with energy points. It is likely to be of great help. As for the 3 martial arts currently mastered, let's take a look. If you can gain more energy points tomorrow, you can try to improve them in an elegant room in the north garden of Meng Mansion. A young man wearing a golden crown was lying on his side, holding a scroll and reciting on the soft collapse paved with tiger skin. His voice was low and hoarse, but with a rich texture. He has a 5 or 6 point similarity in appearance to Meng Wan, but his face has more rugged lines and a little black mole at the corner of his right eyebrow. Not in line with handsomeness, but ultimately with a dignified appearance and a hint of majesty. At this moment, a young servant in green walked quickly up from outside the screen, bowed his body, and came to the soft collapsed area where the young man was lying. He knelt down with a thud and whispered, "Young master, just received news that Meng Zhao was invited to a banquet and went to see second young master." During the banquet, the second young master tried his best to win him over and presented him with beautiful Chu Yao and precious Buddha beads made of Bishuan Lingyu. Meng Zhao refused the beauty but accepted the Buddha's pearl. How should we deal with it? Meng Shi's eyes lit up and he looked away from the book. The cold light, like a cold arrow, pierced at the servant. With a cold laugh, he said, Old C stayed in the monk's temple for 10 years, afraid he was foolish in reciting scriptures and couldn't distinguish between high and low. What does he want to do when he comes back and doesn't first visit my big brother, but instead hangs out with his second brother? Meng Shi pondered for a moment, suppressed his displeasure, and ordered, let's do it this way. Those who are implanted in the secondary housing industry should settle down first and not stand out. Take a look at the fourth person's movements before making any plans. However, the profit from the red leaf ginseng and wolf poison grass is too high, and I am determined to win it. Find an opportunity, notify Lao Si and tell him that I want to buy this piece from him. In terms of price, as an older brother, I won't treat him unfairly. The young servant in green, Lu Shun, trembled in his heart. He had served his master for many years and was very familiar with him. There is a domineering temperament that has been raised from childhood to adulthood, and it is also sensitive and suspicious. Meng Zhao's visit to see the second young master Meng Wan tonight and his acceptance of the gift may have already touched the bottom line of the eldest young master. However, these are not things that he, as a servant, should worry about. After carefully recording them and bowing again, he finally stepped down to do his work. Meng Shi, after waiting for the servant to leave, fiercely threw the book in his hand onto the ground, his face looking very ugly. Meng Zhao has been away from home for 10 years, with only one old man, Lv Zhong, supporting him. He has long been eyeing the fat of the second room. Over the years, he has also salvaged a lot of money from the second house to cultivate his own power, saving him a lot of energy in trouble. Now that Meng Zhao has returned, this kind of thing cannot continue and can only be stopped. However, he cannot tolerate the power of the second Fang being used by Meng Wan, which would be a huge blow to him. Under the dim light, Meng Shi's face remained expressionless, and a cold and gloomy light lingered in his eyes. The position of the head of the family belongs to me, and it can only be mine. Fourth, I hope you can understand the current situation, otherwise. Seeking collection and recommendation. Furthermore, regarding the imperial dynasty in the Great Emperor, most of them will mythologize ancient history. For example, Emperor Wu of Han, Lu Che, and Emperor Taizong of Tang, Li Shimin, set up a chaotic system. In terms of strategic and talented individuals, their martial arts were undoubtedly the best in the world at that time. Don't compare who is more powerful, I don't know either. In addition, emperors who have not appeared, such as the highly popular Emperor Shi and the cloth-clad Emperor Hongwu, are not necessarily not powerful, but have not been involved or mentioned temporarily. Please understand and do not criticize me. End of this chapter. Chapter 7. Situation. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 7 Situation. The next morning, under the care of Lv Lu, Meng Zhao finished washing up and changed into a refreshing and cool light red uniform, sitting in the room enjoying breakfast. 3 plain-colored pastries, 8 side dishes, and dried fruits and vegetables, not only have a complete color, aroma, and flavor, but also contain the essence. It either contains rare and precious herbal essence, or is made from the flesh and blood of some ferocious animal. Once taken, it generates a large amount of essence, which is an essential resource investment for martial artists who practice internal skills. The first step in martial arts cultivation is the acquired realm, which mainly focuses on forging the foundation and accumulating internal power. This is true for all 3 levels of meridians, such as capturing breath and solidifying energy, storing chi and the sea, and reaching the 3 levels of meridians, acquired beginner level, small achievement, and great achievement. The thicker the internal strength, the deeper the foundation, and the broader the future prospects of martial arts. An internal power never comes out of thin air, it must be refined and transformed into human essence through special martial arts techniques. But human essence is limited, whether it is innate or acquired essence. Once excessively harvested, there will be worries of loss and damage, and even harm to life. Therefore, it is necessary to compensate with foreign things, such as various precious pills, precious ingredients, and so on. The strong mostly come from prestigious families, sects, and sects, which is why even a genius with a special physique, without resource supply, even the strongest talent is difficult for a skilled woman to cook without rice, ultimately leading to mediocrity. So, Meng Zhao had no resistance to the mysterious person sending him to impersonate the Meng family, and the gains were too great. During Meng Zhao's meal, with a round and cheerful face, LV Lu, dressed in a brown shirt, stood beside him, holding a blue-covered booklet, slowly telling Meng Zhao about some of his second wife's industries and power. Firstly, some industries jointly operated by Dafeng and Sanfeng have been removed. In recent years, the influence of Erfeng in these industries has gradually declined, with only dividends and no room for intervention. The rest are all industries operated solely by Second Feng. Such as real estate, farmland, shops, etc., are not only numerous but also complex, with Nan'an County City as the center, radiating to less than half of Jizhou. Speaking of which, there are over 100 managers and managers under his second wife, and they are very prosperous. Such a large stall can be managed in an orderly manner, and it is becoming increasingly prosperous. In addition to the support of the wealthy Meng family, LV Zhong, the big butler of the second house and LV Li's adoptive father, definitely deserves great credit. In addition to money, there are also a group of martial artists under the second house, who have decent qualifications but lack the potential stocks to support resources. There are also those who have already developed some reputation but act too ostentatiously and have formed enemies to seek refuge. There are also fugitives with their heads tied to their belts who kill people like crazy for money and martial arts training resources. In summary, when it comes to money and wealth, it's important to have people and connections behind it. Even if it is picked alone from the Meng family, it can still be done in the border of Jizhou. It cannot be said that it is dominant, but it can still be done in a corner of Pianan. However, before Meng Zhao could be happy for long, LV Lu said a few things that made him less happy. Firstly, Meng Shi and Meng Wen from Dafeng have both set up manpower in the industry of Erfeng, mainly concentrated in the industries of Nan'an County and nearby counties. In recent years, they have been paying a lot of money from Erfeng. Their two brothers are fighting so fiercely, and the temporarily unowned flesh of the second room will certainly not be let go. It's just that there are elders above, and these two brothers have been quite restrained, not too excessive. In addition, Meng Zhaoyuan was in Yujing, beyond his reach, and LV Zhong, an old slave, could only turn a blind eye. Secondly, in the past year, in the city of Nan'an County, there have been frequent conflicts between the Sun and Meng families, who are both wealthy families, and the two sides have been in a constant struggle. Naturally, some industries of Second Feng were also suppressed by the Sun family's influence and suffered significant losses. The most recent incident was 5 days ago when Erfeng's estate outside Nan'an County was attacked, resulting in the death of 8 warriors who watched the estate and significant financial losses. About 30 acres of medicinal fields were burned down, and the 2 large warehouses of herbs were looted. LV Zhong has been busy investigating this matter these days and has already gained an idea. According to the latest news, it may be a playboy named Sun Chuanshan from the Sun family who instructed people to take action. It seems that this guy owes a lot of money outside and doesn't dare to talk to the family, so he has a crooked idea on the Meng family's property. Anyway, the two families are now in a state of equal strength and are becoming increasingly fierce. Therefore, they are thinking of both attacking the Meng family and filling their own gaps. Even if discovered by elders, there are still excuses to evade. However, this is only the direction of the investigation indicated by some clues at present and cannot be confirmed yet. After finishing these words, LV Lu put away the booklet and quietly waited for instructions on the side. Meng Zhao thought about his current situation while sipping the fragrant porridge with a silver spoon. Internal and external troubles. Within the family, the 2 brothers of the big house were restless and involved in a dispute over the inheritance of the family owner, and had already extended their hands into the property of the second house. I certainly don't want to get involved in it, but when people are in the world, it's hard to say what the future holds. Externally, this Sun family is also a big trouble. The existence of being able to argue with the Meng family must also be a powerful figure, and there is a high probability of someone supporting them behind the scenes. The first and foremost benefit is the entire Meng family, not the second house, otherwise this small body really wouldn't be able to carry it originally. Meng Zhao was a West Beihua. Following the instructions of a mysterious person, he infiltrated the Meng family and played the role of the second young master. The rest are not explicitly required. Based on this premise, the best approach is to maintain the status quo, be invisible, and reduce the chances of making mistakes. False, after all, is fake. Jumping too happily can easily reveal the horse's feet. But now, with a mirror shining in the sky and a sense of confidence, Meng Zhao, who even wanted to backfire on the mysterious person, naturally did not want to do such a lack of progress. On the contrary, he has already developed the idea of occupying the magpie's nest, so naturally, he wants to show more. Take control of the entire second bedroom, and even the entire Meng family. Heaven will not take what he gives, but will be blamed for it. Since God sent him to this world, he gave him the same appearance and body as Zhen Mengzhao. We must make good use of this opportunity to fully solidify our identity. As for his past identity as a beggar, as well as his optional background, it has no meaning for someone who has traveled through time. And to achieve these, the road ahead is actually very clear. Improving personal strength is the top priority. As long as one is strong enough, even if their identity is exposed in the future, they can have the ability to protect themselves, and even wander the rivers and lakes to create another foundation. To achieve this in a very short amount of time, it is necessary to make good use of the mirror, and energy points are also essential. So, he needs to use his resources to search for objects that may contain energy points. Secondly, we should strive to gain the recognition and love of our elders, while also integrating and controlling our resources and power. With money, people, and power, there is only the capital to compete with and detach from that mysterious person. There are crazy people who fight alone, but Meng Zhao believes that he does not have that ability for a short period of time. The most crucial thing is that Meng Zhao has a mysterious person inside his body who controls his strange poison. He must take the antidote on time to suppress the toxicity, otherwise his life will be in danger. This is a sharp sword hanging above Meng Zhao's head, as well as a reins tied around his neck, constantly threatening and humiliating him. If you want to detoxify, no matter how strong your personal strength is, it may not be effective. It is highly likely that you will still rely on your influence to find divine doctors and miraculous medicines. Only by obtaining complete freedom and breaking free from the control of mysterious people can Meng Zhao have the mindset and time to contemplate his future life and path. After thinking through these things, Meng Zhao no longer felt lost in his heart and quickly cleaned up the dishes on the table. Waves of scorching essence emanated from the abdomen and spread throughout the body, as if soaking in a hot spring. It nourishes the body, strengthens the blood, and is finally digested by Arhat Boy's skill. It is transformed into pure internal power, which is hidden in the elixir field to save for the next development of elixir field. I received a short message from the signing site yesterday, and it may take Monday to print the contract. Please rest assured to save it. At least in the short term, there is no need to worry about eunuchs. End of this chapter. Chapter 8. Decisions. You are listening at novelfull.audio. The source has no content or has errors. Chapter 9. Enhancement and Research. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 9. Enhancement and Research. In the quiet and spacious courtyard, the light blue slate floor is cleaned clean, and the air is filled with the fragrant fragrance of flowers and green grass. Meng Zhao had long sleeves fluttering, his hair neatly combed, and he lay on his back on a rattan chair in the east corner of the yard. There was a cup of fragrant tea with a hint of whiteness beside me, looking contented and enjoying life. However, his mind was completely immersed in the sky mirror in his mind at this moment. The operation of the information interface displayed by the mirror raises the 13-Arhat hand from the beginner level to the minor level. On the interface, there were originally 5,400 energy points, but suddenly the number changed to 4,900. At the same time, a torrential flow of information surged out of the mirror and merged into his sea of spiritual consciousness. Make Meng Zhao's head feel like someone has opened a gap and stuffed many things in. The strong stimulation even made Meng Zhao couldn't help but moan softly, and the expression on his face appeared extremely painful, with distorted facial features. In an instant, the swelling pain that seemed to crack gradually disappeared. Instead, there is a sense of heaviness, fatigue, as if you haven't slept or rested for a few days. In my mind, there are also some boxing experiences that I have never experienced before, but I am very familiar with them and deeply engrave them in my soul. Subjectively speaking, this rough experience may seem extremely unfriendly, at least with a heavy mental burden. However, unexpectedly, the effect was significant. Meng Zhao's originally slightly closed eyes suddenly opened, and a faint purple light flashed through his bloodshot eyes, disappearing without even noticing him personally. Then, like a tiger waking up, he jumped into the courtyard and played the 13-Arhat fist. Monks holding scriptures, drunken lying in a chain, children offering treasures. The movements are vigorous and powerful, and the punches are unrestrained. Although the moves are very simple, they create flexible and versatile combinations. After injecting internal energy, both arms gradually turned into remnants. Between waving, it stirred up a fierce wind, sweeping and scattering, and the crackling sound of breaking through the air was as continuous as stir-fried beans. Mighty, terrifying, capable of killing people with just one punch and one foot. Not to mention flesh and blood, even stone seemed to be shattered by a punch. This is not only because Meng Zhao has achieved great success in this martial arts realm, but also because he is extremely familiar with each move. The technique of exerting force all over the body has greatly improved, and the hand is like a whip and a hammer. What's more, because the powerful Arhat boy's skill internal power is attached to the fists and feet, it just bursts out, so it has such a terrible performance. Quickly, Meng Zhao completed 3 rounds of boxing, taking long and short breaths, slowly calming down the surging internal energy. At the same time, stand with your feet slightly apart in place, your hands naturally hanging on both sides, lost in thought. The 13-Arhat fist is the most superficial fist technique in the Great Cien Temple. Its power is average and its moves have not changed much. At the beginner level, it's just about being able to play completely and smoothly, honing your physique. If you want to use this to confront enemies, you don't have much advantage. However, with the help of the Sky Mirror, Meng Zhao's level of cultivation and understanding of this martial art has increased sharply. In a short moment, not only was it a small achievement, but it was even close to a great achievement. Simple tricks have actually led to different changes. On the contrary, all he put in was just 500 energy points, and the harvest was beyond his imagination. In terms of combat effectiveness, Meng Zhao now is estimated to be able to defeat more than 10 of him before. If he is known by the monks who also practice the 13-Arhat fist, he will be jealous to death. The techniques are smoothly connected without any sense of conflict, just like the results of my own solid cultivation. Perhaps the body needs a familiarization process, but it is only a very short time and not enough to be called trouble. When it comes to the negative effects, it's probably due to the rough understanding of martial arts, which puts a great burden on the mind. Meng Zhao extended his slender and pure white fingers and gently rubbed his still swollen forehead, silently summarizing in his heart. It only takes 500 energy points to upgrade Arhat fist from the beginner level to the minor level. Then, how about improving Arhat's boy's skill to a small level? Meng Zhao doesn't want to tangle. Now the energy points are enough, and Arhat boy's skill is also a valuable martial art worth investing. Why hesitate? Quickly immerse your mind and guide you to improve again. This time, the change in energy points exceeded his expectations, from 4,900 points to 3,900 points in an instant. At the same time, the previous experience of information flooding the mind was also several times more painful and swollen than before. Meng Zhao, who was originally standing steadily there, suddenly swayed and swayed back and forth, ready to fall at any moment. His face was also very ugly, and the blood in his eyes was even more prominent, as if it was about to crack at any time. 2 more bloodlines flowed out from under Meng Zhao's nose and landed on the light red watery clothes, still so prominent. However, along with the strong physical and mental discomfort, there are also a lot of practice experience of practicing Arhat boy skill. Meng Zhao had no time to worry about any discomfort and instead focused all his energy on improving this martial arts. Arhat boy skill, the top foundation building internal mental skill of the Great Mercy Temple, is also widely known as an auxiliary mental skill for cultivation. In addition to being able to cultivate pure internal power, one can also cultivate the pure yang childlike energy. This pure yang childlike aura is very rare and precious. Not only does it have the miraculous effect of strengthening muscles and bones, improving qualifications, and breaking evil, but it can also provide strong support for future cultivation of stronger internal martial arts. According to the general outline of the scriptures, the realm is divided into 4 levels. Rough determination, positive determination, renunciation of desires, and full realization. Originally, Meng Zhao was only rough in his thinking, and he could only concentrate when practicing without being influenced by external factors. Reluctantly managing the strong internal power that has been infused into the body, without being affected by backlash, and with extremely poor utilization efficiency. Now we have successfully entered the level of calmness, walking, sitting, and lying, with our minds aligned and not prone to delusions. Not only has it strengthened the manipulation and utilization of internal forces, but also greatly improved the efficiency of cultivation. For example, the absorption and transformation of human essence. Roughly setting requires 1 hour, so positively setting only takes about half an hour, or even less, and its internal strength is more refined and powerful. In the short term, there may not be much difference, but over time, with sufficient resource supply, the gap will widen. Meng Zhao wiped off the flowing blood, stabilized his somewhat unsteady body, and exerted all his energy to calm down the discomfort. I waited for my nose to stop bleeding and the swelling and pain in my mind to dissipate before taking a look at the information displayed on the mirror. At energy point 3900, Arhat boy's skill changed from beginner level to Xiaocheng, and the plus behind it disappeared. Obviously, the 3,900 energy points are not enough to help him to make Arhat boy's skill a success. However, the plus behind the hand of Arhat in the 13 moves still exists and can be improved. However, Meng Zhao ignored it and instead remained calm, suddenly punching the empty front and carefully feeling it. An ordinary punch, with a rich and pure internal force like a volcanic eruption, pushing the fist forward. The force pierced through the air, emitting a sharp whistling sound. In terms of sheer power, for example, Arhat boxing has become more than 50% bigger. In a short period of time, the dual improvement of internal skill moves brought about a revolutionary change in Meng Zhao's martial arts. If Meng Zhao used to be just a fat pig with empty internal strength that he couldn't use, his strength was great and there was no danger. Now it has turned into a strong tiger with sharp teeth and claws, devouring people. However, the cost of becoming stronger has also begun to show signs, and the mental burden is too great for him to bear multiple fierce upgrades in a row. Just like the relationship between water and containers, is the vast and boundless river and sea water that only a few earthen jars can hold. He has gone from being weak to becoming strong, and it is impossible for him to truly rise to the sky step by step. He can only grow step by step in stages. So, if you want to become stronger, it is not necessary to use a skylight mirror, but more importantly, it is important to use it reasonably. You can pursue power, but you must not lose your mind and become a slave to power. Seeking collection and recommendation. End of this chapter. Chapter 10. Good News. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chapter 10. Good News. After resting for a moment and recovering slightly, Meng Zhao became familiar with the two martial arts he had improved through the sky mirror. It is not only out of a cautious mentality and not wanting to leave any hidden dangers, but also because of the enthusiasm for the extraordinary power of martial arts. After all, 2 generations are human beings, especially in the previous life, which was still in a world similar to the end of the Dharma era, and I have a clearer understanding of what having this power means. At noon, the sun in the sky was like a huge fireball, emitting endless light and heat, baking the earth and causing water to evaporate. The entire city of Nannan County was enveloped by heat flow. Meng Zhao, on the other hand, experienced the pleasure of being a tycoon under the influence of his strong family background. The supply of warm water that is neither hot nor cold is unlimited, allowing him to lazily soak in hot spring-like bath water while others are sweating profusely for his livelihood, sweeping away his fatigue. After eating the tonic diet specially cooked by the chef, there are also sour plum soup specially cooled with ice, iced watermelon and other dim sum. If you still feel hot and dry, you can enter the house to cool off. The walls are removed and ice is stuffed in. The simple air conditioning facilities are primitive but also effective. In fact, in Meng Zhao's original world, even ordinary families could achieve these, even better, and more colorful. But in this world, only those with power and influence can enjoy it. This is called the world's disparity. In order to gain something, one must lose something. When Meng Zhao sighed and changed into a water blue Sichuan brocade shirt, sitting in the study flipping through some strange news and secret records, LV Lexing rushed in and after bowing, excitedly said, "Young master, it's a good thing. Just now, Xiaonu received news that the second young master has resigned from our second property industry. We can breathe a sigh of relief." Lu Lu was actually quite happy. Before Meng Zhao returned, the huge property of the second house was the money bag of the brothers Meng Shi and Meng Wen. If needed, just come and get some. Even the butler LV Zhong can only turn a blind eye. Now that Master Meng Zhao has returned, second brother Meng Wen finally knows to stop. This finally breathed a sigh of relief for LV Lu, who was originally worried about the greed of the two brothers. Sure enough, as long as the young master comes back, everything will get better and the second room will become more and more prosperous. Unfortunately, the people under Meng Shi's command did not show much concern. Meng Zhao put down a scroll of miscellaneous notes in his hand and was quite accustomed to playing with the jade Buddha beads at hand. This thing is indeed very good. It has a dual beneficial effect on both the body and mind, which is subtle and irresistible. On his face, there was no expression of joy, and he said calmly, "It's normal for me to go to Tao and repay Li. Don't be too excited. You need to send someone to be prepared to take over, and make sure to smoothly transition all aspects of work to avoid being rushed and causing unnecessary losses. It's really not possible. You can let Meng Wen's subordinates stay for another month until the work is explained clearly before letting them leave. After all, there is still no movement from the leader Meng Shi's people. Besides, if the Sun family doesn't deal with us, we should be careful in everything." LV Lu was somewhat surprised, but more so, he was pleasantly surprised. He really didn't expect Meng Zhao, who had been staying in the monk's temple for 10 years, to exhibit such composure. Even though he was blinded by the sudden good news and wanted to get rid of this group as soon as possible, he ignored the potential crisis. "Yes, young master, I will definitely handle this matter properly and not disappoint you." Meng Zhao nodded and suddenly thought of something. He looked up and asked, "By the way, have you found the guards who will visit Zhuangzi outside the city this afternoon? How are their abilities?" The military power of the wealthy Meng family comes from various sources. They have personnel in the military, and the famous Jianqing Hall of Daong has also been involved. He also controls multiple Jianhu gangs, escort agencies, martial arts schools, and other industries under his name, which are the sources of the armed forces under the Meng family. The black-clad men who patrol and guard the Meng mansion are generally from retired soldiers and apprentices from martial arts schools, with average force but strong discipline. By blending with a few experts, one can effectively patrol the Meng family. After all, in this city of Nannan, there are not many people who dare to break ground on the Meng family. But the guards selected outside the city are different. When going to the outside world, any reputation or influence is secondary and not safe. Only military strength is the only reliance that can be relied on. Lu straightened his face and replied with a solemn expression, "Don't worry, young master. I know that things haven't been peaceful lately, so I have specially drawn 2 highly skilled experts from my adoptive father to protect your safety. One is called Scar, who is skilled in swordsmanship and hidden weapons. He once defeated 4 enemies and killed 2 experts of the same level. He is fierce and brave, facing death as if returning home. The other person's name is Wang Tao, who has exceptional palm power and good lightness skills. He is highly praised by his adoptive father and also has the title of pioneer, with martial arts above Scar. There are 30 more postnatal realms, followed by agile attendants, equipped with steel knives, hidden crossbows, and good horses, ensuring sufficient safety. In Meng Zhao's opinion, the strength of this guard is already quite impressive. Although this world currently has numerous ancient myths and legends, there are also traces of the strong destroying the heavens and the earth. But in today's era, martial arts is in a period of decline, and it is an unprecedented decline. The acquired realm is the norm, and the vast majority of martial artists are at this level. The innate realm can already be called a strong one, and its destructive power is somewhat beyond ordinary. As for the innate realm of the Grandmaster, there are only the 10 wonders of the world on the surface, and it exists as an absolute and unparalleled ultimate power. Even though the Meng family is a dominant force in Nannan County and a wealthy family in Jizhou, the number of innate experts cannot be too high, let alone serving as guards to protect Meng Zhao. Therefore, Meng Zhao was quite satisfied with Li's arrangement. With his stable and honest performance now, if he really went out of the city, he would encounter innate experts to kill him. That's understandable, it's purely fate. Great, besides these manpower, you need to prepare some more silver. When I arrived at the village, it was also my intention to deliver it to those villagers who had lost their lives or injuries. If they encounter any difficulties in the future, they can also prioritize solving them. The normal compensation has already been distributed by Zhong, so these silver coins belong to the gift of Meng Zhao's compassion. A good reputation is also necessary for Meng Zhao, and a glamorous and majestic image is inevitably what the vast majority of people aspire to and trust. Moreover, as a person who walked out of the Dacien temple and a lay disciple in the monk temple, this approach also conforms to his personal characteristics. What was spent was only a small amount of money that had little meaning for Meng Zhao. Furthermore, Meng Zhao, who had a sinister heart and was like a venomous snake watching over the entire Meng family, also needed to create such a kind persona to deceive the 2 brothers in the long room, and even the elders of the Meng family. He may not have a practical plan yet to compete for the position of head of the family, but it does not prevent him from having this wild hope. As for the seeds planted, they are just a foreshadowing laid casually, and he doesn't care if they can be effective. Lu knew nothing about these things, but felt that the young master had a kind heart and was also so considerate of those ordinary farmers, making him a person worth following. Once again respectfully bowed to Meng Zhao, and Lu left the room. Meng Zhao twisted Buddhist beads in his hand and looked ahead with a serene gaze, as if he had seen the person in power of the Meng family and also seemed to have seen the mysterious person manipulating him as a chess piece. He smiled lightly. The identities of prey and hunters are not constant. There is a mirror shining in the sky, and the resources of the Meng family's second house are used by him. He believes that the days of hibernation will not be too long. End of this chapter.